Okay, welcome back. Israelite Preparedness here, and we're going to do another quick little review on some books. These are, just did a video on herbal books and wild edibles, but these books are more so based on kind of like survival and prepping, as well as just kind of being self-autonomous and being more independent and not having to constantly depend on the system that we're so used to, because for thousands of years people didn't have this kind of a society and they could survive off the land. It is either survive or die. And so these things, I think, are something that everyone should have. Again, I stress the importance of getting actual hard copy books, because you might not always have the internet at your fingertips. You might not have service. You might not have you might, if you just look things up online and kind of rely on that, you might not actually learn the information. What I like about getting books is you can actually get your hands on it whenever you want. And for me, I just kind of seem to absorb the information a little better than I do actually reading a website. But and it's very important when you learn something in these books to actually try it. Like, don't be afraid to give it a shot. I've said in another video, I'm sure on here, a few times, like, I was terrified to start making videos for YouTube, and it still kind of makes me nervous. But I think about what the Bible says, like, the Most High God has not given us a spirit of fear. And so we have to, no matter what, even if we're going to fail sometimes, we're going to try, and we're not going to necessarily always get it right the first time, but the point is to continue to do it. That takes courage, that takes strength, that takes faith. The Bible's littered with stories about that, and Proverbs has all kinds of wisdom on those matters. So hopefully these books will also help you guys out as well if you decide to get them. I think this book is incredible. This is called The Lost Ways. And again, I don't know any of the people who made any of these books. I don't know. I'm not selling anything, and I'm not making money off these videos. So I just want to get that out of the way. The Lost Ways, I can't remember who actually wrote this, but this book is, hold on, let me put this one down. This book is awesome because it actually teaches you, and it has cool diagrams and stuff. For example, how to make wood stoves, how to actually smoke meat. It tells you how to, for example, make things like to actually like build what's called like a root cellar. It teaches a lot actually about wild plants as well that you can eat and use for medicine. There's a huge category in here. There's some pretty good pictures in there actually. There is one thing in here that I thought was really cool, and it talks about what it's called prickly lettuce, and it's actually the Native Americans, First Nation people, used to use it for pain, and it grows everywhere, all over your backyards. It's considered a weed, but basically you just take a whole bunch of its leaves and I think you boil them at first, and after you boil them, you cook them. You kind of like you get like this black goo that you concentrate on in a sautéing pan, and then you just use it. You can either use it as a salve or actually ingest it. And what's incredible is this thing, it's actually medicine, is totally free. It grows everywhere. People usually cut it down with their weed eater, but it actually, the Native Americans would use it for pain a great deal, and supposedly it works wonders. I've yet to actually apply that knowledge and try it out, but it acts as an opioid like morphine. However, it has none of the habit-forming properties, and that just sounds too good to be true, right? But hey, you never know. It might come in handy if you can't get to a pharmacy or to an ER. God forbid, it's the end of the world. We don't have those things. Well, Johnny just fell off the ladder, broke his leg. Let's give him something for the pain. If you've already actually created the concoction, then you can actually maybe give him something for that pain and then actually set that leg. And trust me, as an ER nurse, the last thing that you want when you're setting a bone is someone just flailing and screaming in agony, because you're gonna mess some things up then. So they might end up worse off than if you just maybe left it alone. Also in here, there's things about trapping. It actually even teaches you how to make your own gunpowder in here. Now, I believe it's black powder, but still what's really cool is you can literally just make that from things like charcoal. And it's definitely something that comes in handy. I saw a really cool episode once of mountain men on the History Channel where they actually had like this giant boulder that was in the middle of one of their paths, and they were trying to get the cart around it with their horses, and they couldn't. So they actually instead they just made their own gunpowder and made some black powder, and they, you know, put it in little holes in the rock and just blew the whole thing off the path, and you know, they get their horses and their buggy through. So this book is full of tons of items. Yeah, it was just even how to actually dig your own wells. And I think a lot of this knowledge is actually compiled from a whole lot of different experts on each subject, which I thought was cool. This guy's name, okay, looks like the author's name is Claude Davis, and he got a whole bunch of folks together, and they would each help write a chapter on whatever their specialty was. I thought that was pretty cool. It teaches you how to preserve food. It teaches you preserving meat, how to render lard, smokehouses, self-feeding fires, how to preserve water, how the pioneers dug their wells to procure fresh water. And a lot of this goes back to actual like pioneer knowledge, which is really sweet, and Native American. Deer hunting basics. And then there's some, again, like modern stuff in here, such as firearms and how to use them, how to reload, how to cast your own bullets, how to make your own, like I said, gunpowder. Storage, cast iron cooking, Dutch oven cooking. Ooh, that's cool. I love me some Dutch ovens. Yeah, so anyways, tons of stuff in there. The Lost Ways by Claude Davis. And then here, I'm still getting through this book. This is Survivalist Family by Pastor Joe Fox. He's got a great channel, Viking Preparedness. He's kind of one of the men that inspired me to do this channel, along with many others. But he's also got another channel on YouTube called Shofar Mountain. And he wrote this book a while back, and it's Survivalist Family, Prepared Americans for a Strong America. And this is great. This is great for anyone who's just now getting started when it comes to preparation and trying to get, you know, it addresses all kinds of different walks of life, like, you know, a husband with a family, with a wife and some kids, as well as kind of like, you know, the younger person or an older person, or if you don't have kids or whatever. He's really kind of paints a broad brush, but he even teaches you how to hopefully successfully get your significant other or get your family on board with doing these kinds of things. And don't let that picture scare you. I think that he did that kind of to like just drive home the stereotype. Got like redneck dad with an AK, a little baby shotgun around mama. Look at this guy, you got Jethro over here with his little AR-15. Actually, if you look at it, I think that's actually an AR-22. Doesn't look like an AR-15. But anyways, you know, this is kind of the image that a lot of, you know, Americans get in their head when they think about a prepper family, survivalist family. But man, there's a lot of really great stuff in here. The content is just astronomical. He's got appendixes for things so you can always refer back to it even after you've read chapters about the stuff, like basic first aid kits, you know, family, what does that say? Contact plan, He talks about storage, he talks about firearms in here, kids' survival supplies, food, how to store food as well, in 5-gallon buckets and things, how to actually not just put it in there, but actually having a spot where it's accessible and still practical to where you can actually use it, if it's not the end of the world, like you can actually still, just like a pantry, be using those items as you go. And hopefully you have, a few months stored up to, if you get there to a year or whatever, but you're still, even if the end of the world never comes in your lifetime, the food's just not going to go to waste. So highly recommend those books. Another one real quick is, this is Aquaponic Gardening, and this is awesome. I really want to build this system. I've been building a chicken coop. I built myself a big old garden box and everything, but I want to, the reason why I mentioned chicken coop is because it kind of goes together with this. This is where you actually use fish, and if you want to, chickens, and then your plants, and it's like a big cycle, like a huge or on a micro scale, an ecosystem where you feed your chickens, and not to get gross, but their feces falls down into a fish pond, and the fish actually eat the chicken fecal matter, as well as like worms and stuff that you put in there. And then their water, if you use tilapia or whatever, their water actually goes and cycles through a whole bunch of plants that you have, and it's supposed to be really helpful and nutrient rich for the plants. They're supposed to grow really well, and you can grow some amazing crops that way, and it just kind of keeps going back around and around and around in this wonderful circle of life, right? To quote the Lion King. But this is by Sylvia Bernstein. So another book that I think would really definitely come in handy if you are more of the prepper mindset, more of a homesteader mindset, which is what I'm trying to do with me and my family. If you've seen the videos about where I was walking on my land, that's something I'm trying to prepare, not just for us, but hopefully to bring other people who might need or want to live that way, who are other Israelites who want to, worship the Most High, worship our Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, and who want to live a set-apart life and want to raise their own food. There's nothing wrong with that. People have been doing that for a long time, want to raise their own fruits and veggies, save money. It's hard work, but in the long run, it's definitely worth it. You can be more independent. You can have more say-so on what goes in your body as well as your kids' bodies and your family's body. And so community and understanding how to build community, as well as implementing different things such as this, or building a smokehouse, or knowing how to make cheese or whatever. Like, these things are great, and these are skills that you can use to barter and trade with other people, or that as a, say you got this one guy, he's a blacksmith, and you guys are friends, and he's a homesteader as well, but he doesn't really have a green thumb, but you're gardening, you're doing the aquaponics thing, you're raising fish and chickens, and so, hey, maybe he tax some of your horses for you, and you can supply him as payment with some food, with some fishies, whatever. So hopefully that's helped you guys, and I hope it's a blessing to y'all. If you don't mind to subscribe or give me a thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever, if you don't like this stuff, that's fine. But hopefully what I'm saying is helping some of you guys out there. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this to hopefully spread, ideas and the thought process of the ancient Israelites and how they were, they were more self-autonomous as well. They knew how to do a whole lot of these things. When you're reading the Bible and you don't have an agrarian mindset, which many of us, let's face it, don't. A lot of the things might not make sense to us, but the ancient Israelites definitely did. They knew how to do animal husbandry, as well as they knew how to raise crops. They knew how to shear sheep and make clothes from the sheep. They knew how to make different medicines, as well as teas and things for digestion. knew how to make wine, all kinds of different stuff that we just have no idea how to do anymore. And so it says in the Bible, it says, seek ye the ancient paths, right? And so that's a good thing. It's good to try and learn how to get closer to our Creator, because the creation itself, testifies of the Most High. And so whenever we can get out and actually put our hands to the plow or in the dirt, or even in the chicken poop, like whatever, like when we can do these things or learn how to dress a deer or dress a cow or dress a chicken or preserve eggs, these are great things for us to get out there and do. Not only does it bring us closer to Him, but also brings us closer as a family and begins to put our focus on ourselves, like not just like a me kind of selfish kind of focus, but a take better care of ourselves focus, so we can also take better care of others and our loved ones, our friends and family. So anyways, this is Israelite Preparedness. Hope you guys have heard something here that's helped you, and I'd appreciate it if you guys share this or if you subscribe or all of the above. All right, thanks. Be blessed.